What is the Role of Censorship? By Gabby and John. The Columbia Encyclopedia states that censorship is the official prohibition or restriction of any type of expression believed to threaten the political, social, or moral order. It may be imposed by governmental authority, local or national, by a religious body, or occasionally by a powerful private group. Throughout this presentation, we are going to argue that censorship should be completely removed, focusing on video games. In regards to video games, Kant's notion that one should only act in accordance with rules that could hold for everyone, censorship should be universally removed due to censorship's inevitable tendency to contradict the maxim of morality being true. Censorship is seen as detrimental by many groups and individuals. According to the UN Declaration of Human Rights, which was adopted by the General Assembly in 1948, it declares that everybody has the right to freedom out of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media. Marx also argued in 1842 that restrictions, like censorship, were instituted by the bourgeois elite. He claimed censorship as a tool of the powerful to oppress the powerless. Censorship is undesirable according to Mill because whether the ideas censored are true or not, the consequences of suppression are bad. Censorship is wrong because it makes it less likely that truth will be discovered or preserved. And it is wrong because it has destructive consequences for the intellectual character of those who live under it. Overall, we believe that censorship restricts people from being well-rounded within cultures and ideas, which translates into video games.
Hi y'all, we're just going to continue on. So we're going to talk about the problems with censorship in video games. Um, there in the United States, there's not a direct entity that is responsible for directly censoring video games, but there is indirect censoring that does happen. And the organization responsible for this is the Entertainment Software Rating Board, ESRB. They have three different ratings that they apply to all software and specifically video games. Interactive software, I'll say. But it is E for everyone, M for mature, and AO for adults only. And E, everyone can buy the 6 and older actually can buy the game. M is 18 and older, and AO is 21 and older. So these are pretty strict laws that are applied to the purchasing of video games, which has a large effect on the sale of these video games. And we're going to talk about how that indirect censorship really happens. So, examples of censored video games in America. We're going to first look at the Super Mario Brothers video game. This is an international video game, actually made in Japan, but is largely sold all over the world due to its popularity. In the Japanese version, there's actually a level where dolphins are eaten, and due to this violence in the video game, although it is very, very juvenile and cartoon in nature, there's no blood or gore. It doesn't matter. It violates the law for what is an E rating, 6 and older to purchase a game. So the censorship that actually happened was the company Nintendo that produces the game actually went back and modified the game that was to be sold in America, the American version. They took out that part of the video game just so that it could meet the rating of E plus and be sold to the audience that it was intended for. This is an example of bureaucracy and the harm that it does, especially in this industry. Super Mario Brothers is deserving of an E rating 6 and older, but just because this one instance, it causes the game to go back and be censored by the own company making it. And this happens in multiple instances. Breath of Fire 4, Mortal Kombat, all Nintendo games, especially. Mortal Kombat. We're going to talk about Kant's theory. So the basic premise of Kant's theory is that it's a very binary form of morality. It's a school of thought that is not to be trifled with. It has very strict uh, tendency or very strict requirements if one is to follow it. AP Walla actually does a good job of elaborating on this. He really talks about how it is a binding, there are binding duties, and one must approach it from that perspective. It is there's not a lot of gray area in this particular moral school of thought. To look at it a little bit more, we're going to look at one of the main actions of Kant's theory that is very much so a key tenet of when it is practiced and applied to one's life. Lying is very much so unaccepted in Kant's theory. It is not allowed because in Kant's eyes, lying deviates from reality, which is true. Um, but when deviating from reality and producing sentiment and thoughts that aren't real and not there, making up artificial causation, no matter on what the individual's rationale and reasoning is to do so, which he does admit that there are instances that rational people can come to lie, but he says even in the most sure situations that lying would be appropriate, it is not permitted, no matter the situation. So he basically say honesty is always necessary in Kant's theory. Um, it is the ultimate insurance policy of producing the right outcome, even if you may not think so. More often than not, it's going to be the right outcome, and in the long term, it's the best choice. So, looking at how Kant's theory relates to censorship, it's very much so related. And when you look at it through a theoretical lens, lying is equivocal to the action of censoring material. Um, Lying is preventing someone from accessing the truth or not permitting them the acknowledgement of what is there. And that's very much so what the act of censorship is. Censorship is denying individuals or society the right to access something that does exist. So if you were to ask Kant about censorship and whether it should be permitted, he would say absolutely not. And censorship is not permitted in Kant's theory due to that correlation. This is just a great image of censorship. Just really helps you grasp the idea of you're not being permitted to see what's there or know what's there or acknowledge what is there. And that's dangerous because it produces artificial outcomes that otherwise should not be there. And these are our works cited. All right, thanks a lot for your time.